Coming to you from the Deep South, this is the Blue Collar Leadership Podcast. High-impact leadership is not reserved for leaders, and it has nothing to do with your position, title, or rank. However, it does have everything to do with your character. It's time to climb to the next level and beyond, personally and professionally. Now, let's start making it happen with your host, Mac Story.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Blue Collar Leadership Podcast today. So today I'm going to talk about something I actually talked about on a video recently. If you follow me on Facebook or LinkedIn, you probably saw this video. Also on November the 11th, I uploaded it to my YouTube channel. And it's underneath the Leadership Truth playlist. So if you don't follow me on social media, I put out stuff every day. I call it the drip. I help you keep it dripping. Rhea does the same thing. So that's one place you can get some additional content from us is on LinkedIn or Facebook. And then also I have tons of videos, mostly on my books, but I also have some like the one I'm about to talk about today under the Leadership Truth playlist. And then also have some random videos where we travel around the country and we make little video clips whenever we're in different cities. Sometimes we do that. We don't do it all the time, but sometimes. So a lot of stuff out there. Hours and hours of videos. And again, there's a playlist for each one of the Blue Collar Leadership books. All 5 of them. And plus Change Happens. So all of those are out there under a playlist. But today, I want to talk to you about the video I did recently. And this applies to anybody at any level. So I'm talking to people today. In today's episode, this is for those who may hate their boss, may hate their job, may hate their pay. That's what I want to talk to you about today. If you're in that position, and hate may be a strong word. Maybe you dislike your boss, or you dislike your job, or you dislike your pay. That's who today's episode is for. If you know somebody who's in that position, maybe it's not you, but you go ahead and listen anyway. But maybe it's not you. You need to turn them on to this episode of this podcast. You need to share the link with them. Because you know somebody in your life who hates the boss, hates the job, hates the pay. They may hate all 3, or may only be one of them. But this episode's coming out on a Friday morning. That's when it'll be released. And what I know about the people who are in this category, the people that I'm making this podcast episode for, what I know about these folks, they can't wait for the weekend, and they already dreading Monday, and today's Friday. I used to be in that boat. I fixed it. That's what this podcast is about today. Helping those people who want to fix it. But let me go ahead and say this. Those people who just want to moan and groan and whine about it, and there's a lot of those people out there. A lot of people who hate their boss, hate their job, hate their pay. What they do about it is they whine, moan, groan, and complain about it. That's all they do about it. And they do a lot of hoping and wishing, and that's not a very good strategy. But actually, let me just stop right here before I get too deep. Some of you may be listening to my podcast for a long time. I've almost have, I think, as of the time I'm recording this, about 42,000 plays on my podcast. So somebody's out there listening a lot. And it's in, last time I checked, it was in about, 70, 80 countries, all 50 states and DC. So there's a lot of people listening. So let me just go ahead and warn you right here. If you're the kind of person who transfers responsibility for your circumstances and avoids accepting responsibility for your circumstances, if you're one of those people, you probably want to go think about just go ahead and turn this episode off. So I'm going to give you a second to think about it. You might want to do it because I'm about to talk some truth to you. And it ain't for everybody. But it's for somebody, and I don't know who that somebody is. But maybe in the past, you haven't really accepted responsibility. And I can tell you, the truth about it start right here. The way that I know you haven't fully accepted responsibility in the past is if you hate your boss, you hate your job, and you hate your pay. The only people who fit that category are people who have not accepted responsibility for changing it or not ending up there in the first place, but mainly changing it. Because we can change it whenever we get ready. So let me tell you right here, this whole episode, you can feel it right there, right here at the start. This whole episode is full of what I call leadership truth. And again, that's where you'll find the video I made on this. It'll be slightly different, but slightly the same. You go to YouTube, Mac Story, or go to youtube.com/c/Mac Story, MACKSTORY, and look under the playlist, find the Leadership Truth playlist, and then you'll see this one about hating your boss, hating your pay, hating your job, if you want to watch the video version of this. And again, I didn't script either one of them, so they're slightly different. I'll be saying different things, but kind of a similar message. But what you need to know is leadership truth, it's like a surgeon's scalpel. You probably heard me say this if you listen enough. It might hurt, but it's meant to help. And that's what I'm trying to do today. I'm trying to help those people who really do hate their boss, hate their job, or hate their pay, or hate all three, or hate two of the three. But at a minimum, hate one. That's what this episode is about. But it's full of truth. And a lot of people out there, they just can't handle the truth. And the truth is, you get exactly what you deserve based on every choice you've ever made. If you can't handle that truth, again, probably time for you to stop this, because I'm talking about the truth. If you want to hear about some moaning, groaning, and complaining, you got to go find those people who like to talk to others who moan, groan, whine, and complain. Because, see, that's who we are. That's how it works. Who we are is who we attract. You'll think I'm a psychic. If you moan, groan, whine, and complain about your boss, your job, or your pay at work, I bet you're doing it to somebody else who does the same exact thing. Because most of the time, people who moan, groan, and whine and complaining about something, they don't usually hang out and talk to people who are fired up, motivated, and excited about the same thing. They see it completely different. Life for those two people are completely different. They don't hang out. Who we are is who we attract. If we like to moan, groan, and whine, we hang out with people who like to moan, groan, and whine. And I can tell you, I don't hang out with those people. I don't care if they're family, if they were past friends. You got that? Past friends? I ain't got nothing to do with those kind of people. They ain't taking themselves anywhere they need to go, and they're holding everybody else who will listen to them back at the same time. I don't hang around with the moaning, groaning, whining group. Hopefully you don't either. But let me tell you this. If you want a raise, you can get a raise whenever you want one. See, that's what it looks like when you take responsibility. You don't have to go ask for a raise. You don't have to go beg for a raise. You go get a raise. You can get it within your same company sometimes. Sometimes you have to go to a different company to get it. Sometimes you may have to start your own company to get it. All I'm saying is you're responsible. You decide where you get it. You want a different job? Go get a different job. Don't get mad because some boss in that company won't give you the job you want. That's their way of telling you you're not getting this job. You need to find another job. It sounds funny, and it is funny to me. But a lot of people, they don't get it. They ask for a raise, they don't get one. The boss says you don't get one. They say, okay. And then they work another 10 years without one. They act like they don't have options. And that's mainly because people don't like to change. Instead of going and get a job they like with a boss they like at a pay they like, because see, you got to change to do all that. They just happy and content to moan, groan, whine, and settle for doing something they don't want to do. Now I'm telling you, I cannot understand why. I ain't ever did that for very long. I might have done it long enough till I could get to the next level, but I knew the whole time I was doing it, Mac Story ain't staying in this mess. I'm on the move. But I've passed by a lot of people. I probably could take you back and show you people who were standing beside me 20 years ago. I probably could take you back to the very spot, and they still standing there today. And they still moaning, groaning, whining. They've been doing it for the last 20 years. And if you being straight up, You know there's people out there like that. And it doesn't matter if they're entry level or they're in first line supervision or they're in middle management or they're in upper management. These people are everywhere. So you get a raise when you get ready to get a raise. What you got to do, though, is you got to stop waiting. And again, you don't have to necessarily leave the same company. Leave the company you're in. But I'm going to tell you this. The company you're in, if you're moaning, groaning, whining, and complaining about anything, you're probably not going to do very well in that company. If you go to another company, you start moaning, groaning, whining, and complaining, you're probably not going to do very well in that company. So no matter where you're at, you got to get to work on yourself first. And the first thing you can do is stop shooting yourself in the foot, moaning, groaning, whining, and complaining, and hanging out with people who moan, groan, whine, and complain. If you want to know how that works for you, well, how's it working for you? Remember, I warned you at the beginning. I'm talking about some truth right here. I'm assuming if you're listening, you want to get better. Or you just like hearing me tell some truth. I don't really know which one it is. But if you need this or you know somebody that needs it, put them on this podcast episode or put them on that video on YouTube. Some people need the cage rattle. Some people don't have somebody in their life who will actually tell them the truth. A lot of people don't have anybody in their life with the wisdom to tell them the truth. Because most of the time, people who moan, groan, whine, and complain, again, they hang out with the same kind of people. Those people don't have good advice to give you about that because they need it themselves. And I'm going to tell you this. Most bosses out there, they don't care if you climb to the next level and beyond. They care about if you do the work they're asking you to do. That's why I'm so passionate about developing leaders. I want to develop leaders who care about helping their people get to the next level and beyond. But on the other side of the coin, I want to help people who have bad leaders realize you don't have to keep working for those leaders. Fire the boss. A lot of people ain't never even thought of the concept. I can fire the boss. If you listen to this podcast, you can walk in tomorrow, fire the boss. You may not want to, but you can do it. Nothing's stopping you but you. A lot of people won't do it because they don't have options. They hadn't developed themselves. They don't have options. They don't have another job to go to. Maybe they've been spending and wasting money, running up a lot of debt. So they got to have a job. So they got to have a job they don't like versus having no job because they don't have options. But they blame the boss. See, they go in and say, oh, I can't quit. I have to go to work. No, you don't have to go to work. You don't have to. You choose to. So if you're going to choose to walk in, choose to be on the team. Because it's nobody else's fault where you're at in life. You're responsible. And I'm going to tell you this, you're responsible whether you want to admit it or not. It's like gravity. You can tell me, hey, Mac, I don't believe in gravity. I can watch you step off a cliff and you not believe in gravity till you hit the ground. But I promise you, you're going to hit the ground. Thinking somebody else is responsible for your pay, the job you do, or the boss you work for, they have responsibility, but they're not responsible for why you're in that position. If they're a crappy boss, absolutely, they're responsible for being a crappy boss. If you follow a crappy boss, you're absolutely responsible for having to follow a crappy boss. And think about that. What does that say about you? If you have to follow a crappy boss, what does that say about you and your choices? I'm going to tell you some more leadership truth. Crappy followers follow crappy bosses. That's just the way it works because they don't have options. People with options, they ain't going to follow a crappy boss for 2 seconds. They're going to figure out that boss is a piece of crap when they go in and do an interview with that boss. And they're going to check out before they ever check in. You with me? You might can tell I'm having some fun with this talk right here, but every bit of it is 100% the truth. Two sides of the coin, I tell you. I love helping people create options for themselves. I don't care what level they're at. And I love helping leaders become better leaders. Because if they become better leaders, they'll help me grow and develop people who will create options for themselves. But most bosses don't care. If you don't care, ain't nobody caring. You better start with you. So So the stuff I'm telling you about, as soon as you take responsibility, you're going to launch like a rocket. I don't mean instantly. A rocket don't launch instantly. I mean, it does once it actually launches, but there's a lot of preparation to get the rocket to launch instantly. That's what I'm telling you about right now. You got to prepare. Les Brown said it best. I heard Les say this a long time ago, and I believe it 100%. Les Brown says, it's always better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have one than to have an opportunity and not be prepared. And see, that's really what's going on right here. That's really what's going on right here. It's people who hate their job, hate the boss, and hate the pay. They're not prepared for the opportunity. They're waiting for the opportunity to present itself, and they just hope they get it and wish that it happens to them. What pay do you want? I don't know what your pay is. I'm just going to say double. Imagine right now, double your pay. Would that be nice? I guarantee you think it'd be nice. Let me tell you some truth. It's out there waiting for you. Get on Google. Go find a job that pays that you'd like to do. There it is. Maybe the job you're doing right now, you know that ain't really what you put on this earth to do. You want to do a different job, or there's something you'd rather be doing. Get on Google, look. Get on Google and look. I guarantee you somebody somewhere out there is hiring somebody tomorrow to do the job you want to do. Why ain't it you? Somebody's getting paid double, quadruple. Ain't no telling how many times more than you getting paid starting a job tomorrow. Why not you? Maybe you don't like the boss. Guess what? There's a better boss out there waiting. There's a better boss out there right now looking for really, really good people of high character. They're about as hard to find as it is for people with high character who's looking for a boss with high character. Those people of high character, they're out there looking for each other. They're waiting right now. They're out there. They're already out there. The opportunity's out there. Guess who's going to get them? Those who are prepared to get them. Those who moaning, groaning, whining, getting off on this weekend, are going to blow their time and blow their money. Guess what they're going to do? They're going to ensure with those choices that Monday, they're in the exact same position they had on Friday. They're very well positioned to start with a boss or a job or at a pay they're not happy with. That's what wasting your time on the weekend is going to get you. More of the same. That's what wasting your time when you get off of work until you go back to work, wasting that time, that's exactly what it's going to get you. More of the same. See, our problem is the choices we made. We're exactly where we're supposed to be based on all the choices we made. There's people at your age or even younger who are blowing you out of the water, and you wonder why. How does that happen? Well, it's about their choices. If you could go tap into their life and look at the choices they made, and then look at the choices you made and compare them, you're going to see a big difference in choices. That's all it comes down to is choices. And there's people who like to transfer responsibility now. They're going to say, oh, no, it's because of the family they were born into. For some people, that could happen, but they still had to make a lot of the right choices. But I could still show you somebody who was not born into that family with all those opportunities. I can show you somebody on the other end of the spectrum who's blowing that person out of the water. There's people at every level of society who go and excel amazingly well. And there's people at every level of society who flop around like a fish out of water. Everything is about choices. The good thing is you're not out of choices. Maybe you made some bad choices to be where you're at. Okay, that's in the past. Ain't got nothing to do with a choice you're about to make today or tomorrow or this weekend. See, it's one thing. There's people out there moaning, groaning, and whining right now. They hate the boss, they hate the pay, and they hate their job. And they're going to get off this weekend. They ain't going to pick up a book. They could. That's a choice. They're going to pick up a remote to watch your favorite TV show or to watch college football all day on Saturday and maybe pro football all day on Sunday or whatever it is they like to watch on TV. It could be some other shows. And they might go pick up a beer instead of a book. That's what I used to do until 2012. I ain't drank a drop since. 2012, I stopped drinking alcohol. Actually, a year ago, I quit drinking any type of soda, Cokes, product, anything. I drank water and occasionally milk. So don't hold it against me. I know there's sensitive people out there and says, "Oh, he don't drink alcohol. He gonna judge me because I do." I ain't gonna judge you. You got to decide what you want to do. One day, I didn't stop drinking alcohol because somebody judged me. I stopped drinking alcohol because I judged myself, and I said that I need to make a better choice. And as soon as I made that choice, I freed up time and I freed up money. And then I started making better choices with my time and my money. And I started getting better results. So a lot of people, they say, "Oh, I'm so busy, Mac. I'm so busy." I hear you, Mac, but I'm busy. Okay, it's real easy then. What you need to stop doing? You ain't got to be, it don't matter how busy you are. You can stop doing something. And it's not going to take you more time to stop doing something. It's going to save you time. See, a lot of people, though, they don't want to stop doing nothing. Okay, you don't have to. But when you stop doing something, you free up time and resources. So if you're serious about taking responsibility, figure out what you need to stop doing and stop doing it. Another thing you need to do, figure out where you want to go. Where do you want to go? Do you want to double your pay? Do you want to find a new boss? Do you want to move departments inside the same company? Do you want to start your own business? What do you want to do? I don't know. You know. Figure out what you need to stop doing it. Next thing, relative to where you want to go, what you want to achieve and accomplish, what do you need to keep doing? What are you doing already that works? Keep doing it. You got that part figured out. Keep doing it. Stuff that don't work, stop doing it. And now that you've stopped doing stuff, freed up some time and resources, now figure out what I need to start doing. What do I need to start doing? See, don't ask yourself, can I do it? Because that gives you the option to say no. And that's what weak people do. Can I double my pay? No. Can I find a better boss? No. Can I find a better job? No. There's one little three-letter word that you can throw in front of can I. Changes everything. It's a little magic word called how. How can I double my pay? Well, you can't say no now. You got to figure out how. How can I find a better boss? Can't say no now. You got to figure out how. Can I get a better job? How can I get a better job? Can't say no. Got to figure out how. How can I get a better boss? How can I get better pay? How can I get a better job? You start answering those questions and you start taking action on those things, those answers, it's going to happen. I'm going to tell you one thing. One way to get better pay, stop whining, moaning, groaning, and complaining about the pay you got now. I heard a lesson on this a long time ago. Guy says, always be grateful, but never be satisfied. And I've lived that long before I heard it. But when I heard it, I made sure I started teaching it to other people. Because I had been living it, but I hadn't been really saying it. Definitely hadn't been teaching it. Always grateful, never satisfied. That means wherever I'm at, I'm grateful. I ain't moaning, groaning, whining, and complaining. I chose to be there. I'm responsible. But I ain't never going to be satisfied. I'm looking to grow and go. So I hope you're getting some value out of this. It's full of leadership truth. What needs to change? Because if nothing changes, you're just guaranteeing you're going to get more of the same. And I want to talk for a minute. I'm a person of faith. That happened to me in 2012. Before then, I was not a person of faith. But I'm going to talk to you for a moment as if you are a person of faith. And you may not be, but it's still going to apply. You just give credit to somebody else or to something else or coincidence, or that's just the way things work. Doesn't matter. But I'm going to talk to you as a person of faith. And see, I know there's a lot of people, because I've heard them, There's a lot of people out there who pray for a better boss, who pray for better pay, who pray for a better job. There ain't nothing wrong with that except for this. Your prayer's already been answered. Your prayer's already been answered. There's already a better boss. There's already a better paying company, a better paying job. There's already a better job. All that stuff is already out there. You can pray till the day you die. It's already there. The problem is, if you're a person of faith, you've been given free will. And you don't have to choose to go get it. You can choose to stay right where you're at. And there ain't no amount of prayer is going to change your free will. And see, this is where I said before, if you're not a person of faith, you still have free will. And there's still a better boss, a better paying job, and a better job out there. So it doesn't matter if you're a person of faith. But I'm just speaking to those who are praying. Stop praying for it. It's already out there. Your prayer has been answered. Pray for the courage and wisdom to make a better choice. And if you're not a person of faith, you got to develop courage and you got to make better choices. You got to decide, what do you want to change? I know people who have doubled, tripled, quadrupled their pay. People who heard me speak, they bought into this stuff. They bought into personal responsibility. They went and launched like a rocket. My son's one of them. I'm one of them. Ria's one of them. My mother's one of them. The people who buy into this and accept responsibility, they launch like a rocket. The people who don't, they throw in an anchor out back and dragging it. And a lot of people out there, their anchor is like hooked to the bottom. They're not moving in life. They're yelling and moaning and groaning, whining and screaming and complaining. But they ain't going nowhere. So again, if you want to watch a different version of this, or a version of this on a video format, go to youtube.com/c/MacStory. And you can watch about a 17-minute video version of what I just talked about. And again, if you know people, especially young people, they got a lot of time to go and do some serious applying of themselves and get ridiculous results. I introduced this stuff to my son when he was about 19 years old. He's making about $10 an hour. Today, that boy is far into the six figures. And he pretty much been in six figures since he was 19. He turned on his light. He didn't go get college, but he went and got an education. He's self-educated. See, you don't have to go to college to get an education. You can if you want to. The key is you've got to get an education. Instead of turning on the TV or picking up a beer, pick up a book or pick up an audio book or turn on a video relative to what it is you want to do. You become an expert at it. I did it. I've been paid up to $20,000 to speak on leadership development because I started reading leadership books in 2008. Started applying it. Started getting results. I've been asked, and I got to speak at Yale University October 18th, 2018. It didn't happen by accident. It happened by design. I designed it. I ain't tooting my horn. I'm telling you, I lived what I'm teaching you. Hope you got some value out of this podcast. I had a lot of fun talking about it. This is really where a lot of my passion is. Talk to you next time.
Make it happen or someone else will. It might as well be you. Are you serious about taking your career and your life to the next level and beyond? Check out MacStory's Blue Collar Leadership Series books and others, now available on audio, along with paperback and ebooks at Amazon, iTunes, and Audible. Please visit bluecollarleadership.com to learn about Mac's books, programs, special offers, certifications, and more. Thank you for listening to the Blue Collar Leadership Podcast.